Welcome to my most recent obsession, Hi-Fi Rush. My wife may have left me and taken the kids, but at least my fit goes hard. You play as Chai, an ADHD-ridden twink with a robotic arm and a heart made of gold, / heart of MP3 player, the beat of which controls the timing of the entire world. On your quest, you'll have to escape from the clutches of Robo-Amazon and their army of unpaid interns of doom. In order to succeed, you'll need to harness the power of the beat in order to defeat the corporate elite. Join me on this grand journey of corporate vandalism as we explore Hi-Fi Rush. That wasn't a request. Level 1 sees you targeted by Vanderlei security robots. And after you learn the basics of combat, you wander aimlessly around the campus as a perverted fridge teaches you the art of timing your aggravated assault to the beat.
I can analyze your well-being and guide you to satisfaction. Let me indulge. Hey, no indulging.
Pressing forward through the city like a pit bull in a daycare playground, we run into the funny walkie-talkie cat. There's a woman inside the cat who yells at me. She keeps saying to check out some AI called Sigma or something. To investigate, we'll need to make our way to the Quality Assurance Building. I'd like to go myself so I can ask them why my heart is currently a Walkman and who filled it with this much reggae. Hello everyone, and welcome to the first episode of my Super Mario Bros. Playthrough. Finally, we arrive at the Quality Assurance Building, where we get to meet Big Woman.
There you are, man. Messing with Rekka's crew. Rekka's production. And worst of all, yeah, Rekka's perfect, no defect record.
Unfortunately, our time with Rekka is cut short as we're challenged by Gran Robot Enhadado, Head Inspector of Quality Assurance, as he ensures anything not of quality dies. To win this fight, you'll have to break his dainty doom digits before he's able to bitch slap, blast, or bomb you off the stage.
Got a killer track. But every song's gotta end. You're paying me double for this.
Welcome to Level 2. To learn about Sigma, we need to access Rekka's computer. More like she can Rekka my pelvis, am I right, fellas? Anyway, we need to get through production, and to do that, we pick up a few tricks along the way. First things first, Chai discovers that his magnetic arm can be used to grapple onto magnets or enemies, using a technique I refer to as you. Enemies also develop shields to block your hits, but luckily, the voice behind the funny cat, Peppermint, is here to solve that with the power of the Second Amendment. They also introduce some new enemies this level, but they're no match for my skill. I just fucking missed. After fighting through hordes of robots that may or may not have been people in the past, try not to think about that, we take the Vanderlei Express right to Rekka's office, where the boss lady herself is waiting for you. The gloves come off and it's time for Rekka to give an ass clown the smackdown. What happens next will shock you.
You're going out. With the trash. You think I'll lose to a punk like you?
After defeating the massive malicious mechanical muscle mommy, she fucking explodes, and you get a chance to take a look at her computer. You and Peppermint discover that Sigma is designed to mind control Vanderlei customers, and to shut it down, you'll need the passwords of Rekka and the other 5 department heads. And speak of the devil,
Rekka, please tell me you've dealt with the defect. What in the hell am I looking at?
thanks to Chai, now the entire company is on alert. Third level? More like third degree. We're really turning up the heat on this one. Out of the frying pan into the fire, so to speak. We're in hell. This level takes place in the basement inferno that is research and development. R&D is headed up by Zanzo. Zanzo definitely feels heavily inspired by something. I can't quite put my finger on it. Almost like a reference of some sort. I'm sure it'll come to me later. Let's move on. In this level, we pay homage to thousands of lab rats that gave their lives so that humankind can develop things like shampoo we don't think will give you cancer. Probably. We do this by serving as one of Zanzo's guinea pigs through his tests. Most of these tests seem to be begging the question, what would happen if he shot us? The answer to this is the game teaches us how to parry. Now, as a longtime Soulsborne player, I have a lot of experience in parrying and just how useful it can be. Observe my superior skills in action. You will tell no one what you saw here today. Spurred on by the promise of a gift basket, we continue through his tests until we defeat the pizza cutter boss. Everything is running swimmingly until we run into an enemy with anti-twink armor, or Z-shielding as the game refers to it as. Z-shielding is fun because there's not a single tool that Chai has that can put a dent in it. Seeing as violence has failed us, which is not a phrase you're going to hear me say very often, we resort to negotiations.
I think we have more in common than we do apart. How about...
This, ladies and gentlemen, is why we never give up on violence. Luckily for us, this large creature in the dark is not actually a man-eating robot, but is instead the large lovable lad, Macaron. Him and his sidekick Cinnamon are our men on the inside, and luckily for us, Macaron has just the right kind of pent-up rage to break through Z-shielding. As we return to confront Zanzo, he throws us into the metaverse. As Zanzo targets us with his expensive new technology, we come up with a rather expensive strategy of our own. Instead of attacking Zanzo directly, we hit him where it hurts. In the budget. Zanzo's boss fight sees us goading him into throwing everything he's got at us, making him blow his financial load. After the metaverse fails, Zanzo falls back on his old reliable strat of giant Doom robot. But unfortunately, he's freshly out of bread. He's fumbled the bag. His days of stacking paper are over. As the robot lays unfinished, Zanzo lays defeated. Before you can escape the level, security shows up. Most of the gang gets away, but Chai is captured by Corsica. Oh no, man! I would hate for that, dude. I'm glad I'm not in that situation. No siree, no siree, Bob. Berserk. It was a Berserk reference. We begin the mission in Corsica's custody. Oh no. It's here that we sow the seeds of doubt by telling her she's the only boss with limited access to the Sigma files. As she walks away to go think, we escape to chase her down. Luckily, the security system is down at the moment, which gives us the opportune chance to sneak. So we fix the security system for them, so that we can take the elevator down. I do not care for the metal bird. To make it to Corsica's office, we'll need to take the lift. The Department of Public Transportation does not look kindly on those who forget their bus passes. After the brutal battle bus beatdown, the lift ends up causing several employees to be late, costing them their 401ks, bonuses, and left thumbs as tribute to their corporate gods. With the lift ride over, the rest of the way to Corsica's office should be a breeze.
All right, I'm putting a stop to this.
That's not bad.
Man, why do video games always make you do shit? To get to Corsica, we need to vent to her office, where we find her looking at the more sus parts of the company. Tragedy strikes as we're ejected and get caught. Corsica's boss fight is a one-on-one showdown where we parry her attacks and attempt to negotiate with her, which ultimately ends in a kidnapping. As we make our elegant escape, Corsica wakes up and we once again attempt diplomacy. But before we can screw it up again, Kale, the CEO, arrives to give her the pink slip. Saving her life from her now ex-employer is reason enough for Corsica to join the team. Our next big target is Mimosa, the head of marketing. The plan is to attack her at her big performance at the festival. To get there, we'll need to sneak through the museum, where we find some interesting art installations. This is also where we get introduced to fire enemies. These are reskinned enemies that have the added ability of being annoying. During this trip, we learned some interesting lore about Kale and how he took over the company from his mother and radically changed it. I'm assuming his first order of business were to commission the large golden bust of him everywhere. This upsets Peppermint greatly, as she reveals that Kale is actually her brother, and was only able to take power because she ran away from home. We make it to the stage where we'll need to devise a plan to sneak past security. Oh, I know, they'll never expect us to dress up as a dead meme from 2015. You could have given me a decade to guess what the costume would be, and I wouldn't have ever said fucking Left Shark. From the fucking like Katy Perry Super Bowl thing. Once again throwing any chance of stealth straight out the window. We take the Will Smith approach and attack Mimosa directly on the stage in plain view of the entire concert. Being the performer she is, she spins the assault as part of the performance. Now, I'm gonna level with you. I feel like as someone covering this game, I should maybe have some more insightful things to say about this boss fight. But I have no idea how you're actually supposed to do it. She has these wings and some sort of armor that makes her really fast and really hard to keep track of. So I just use the knuckle dragger level strategy of just spamming the magnet to get in range and spamming light attacks. This is definitely not how the developers intended this fight to go, but critical thinking is for suckers, and the ape brain rarely fails me. Our second to last target is the head of finance, Roquefort. Chai's master plan is to shoot himself out of a cannon directly into his office. This goes perfectly until we miss the shot and instead end up in the cafeteria, resulting in a brawl. This is where we get to see the coolest unique enemy in the game. To get to Roquefort, we'll need to battle our way through the completely practical office space at Vanderlei and topple a giant statue of Kale in order to reach his office. You know how there's that meme about furries being suspiciously wealthy? Well, this one is so wealthy, he has a built-in mecha suit of his persona that has been optimized for combat.
Hey guys.
Now, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Roquefort is the easiest boss in the entire game. His size allows you to completely abuse the magnet arm and play the floor as lava and dodge 99% of all his attacks, turning the big bad wolf into your big bad bitch. After 3 phases filled with more cheese than Wisconsin, Roquefort dies the most Scrooge McDuck-ass death I've ever seen, where he is buried alive by golden coins.
Quarter 3 earnings delivered. Please watch out for falling profits.
With him out of the picture, the only thing left to do is take out Kale and stop Sigma. We arrive at Kale's office only to find his and Peppermint's mom waiting there instead. We approach only to be lured into a trap. Now, I'd like to take a moment to talk about Kale's grind set. His mom wasn't going to choose him as the replacement, so he mind-controlled her to force himself into the position, then later uses her as live bait to trap us. He can't come up with good product ideas, so he further develops the mind control into Sigma, so he can just force people to buy his products regardless of quality.
Wait, this is all an overly complicated plan to sell more product.
Do you have any idea how difficult it is to make something people actually want to buy? It's ridiculously hard! Hey, a new whatever! Well, what color, what model, size, speed, do I need it? All that stress. God.
Never before have I witnessed a man so obsessed with seeking the bag, and frankly, I gotta respect it. We eventually break free from the trap using the power of friendship, only to find that Kale has fronted the last $20 required to finish Zanzo's death robot. We deal with this as a team by cutting its arm off and using Cinnamon to shoot its own laser at it to kill it. Which is metal as fuck. For our final confrontation, the CEO cuts us off from the rest of the party and attempts to mind control us. An attempt that's foiled by Kale's inability to defeat a cat.
Is this a joke? You think I can't deal with a cat?
And with that, the final battle begins.
What's your pathetic Armstrong Texas shape? Come here! God, let me put the... Too bad your little adventure ends here. Game over!
Enough's enough. Give us the password.
Never. You're just a bunch of losers.
Maybe so. But together, we're unstoppable.
This is just too much work.
With Kale fucking dead, you're able to shut down Sigma and restore Peppermint's mom as rightful CEO, who hooks everyone up with the job. That way, we end on a high note. You get it? The high note? Cause it, like a music note, cause it's a rhythm game. We take a magical zipline. Why did I call it magical? We take the Wappy. I'm completely fucking blanking on what the company is called right now. It starts with a V. Massive, muscle-bound, mechanic, malicious, massive mechanic muscle mommy. Malicious muscle mommy. After defeating the massive, malicious, muscle-bound mechanic... Fuck! Roquefort is buried alive under coins, with his Scrooge McDuck-ass vault.